Greenhead Gill Bridge in Grasmere saw a large crowd of people test its strength today, as various bodies celebrated the culmination of a £3 million project to repair some of the public rights-of-way destroyed by Storm Desmond in 2015. Those who secured the funding for the event thanked the workers for their labour.
So we're here today to officially declare that the bridge open. So this is one of 94 bridges and 64 public rights of way and 44 in river bits of furniture, they call it, that the funding has funded to reconstruct after Storm Desmond, after the damage that was done by Storm Desmond. So I think this is the last of the bridges to be done from the original £3 million pot of funding. It took a little while to put the project together. Anything to do with government and European funding has some complexities that we need to make sure that we get round. So it did take quite a few months to get the scheme up and running. So yeah, this is the culmination of about 2.5 years of work from a really big team of people. They're massively important. So my understanding from talking to the Lake District National Park people is that there was an attitude that the Lake District was shut because people couldn't get round, couldn't get over the rivers. So having public rights of way to enable people to get up onto the fells and fully enjoy the Lake District is massively important. So we're really pleased that the bridge is open now.
The Wordsworth Trust also attended the event and read a poem by William Wordsworth that relates specifically to the region.
Well, I was coming here to read a poem by Wordsworth which actually celebrates and commemorates Greenhead Gill, the spot on which the bridge has been built. To celebrate the place where this bridge is being built, and it's a poem Wordsworth wrote more than 200 years ago, but recognising the importance of the landscape here to people, the importance of your connection with the landscape that people have, and how if you lose those connections, like the bridge going down, you lose something quite vital. Well, I think it's always challenging reading poetry, especially out loud. Because it's written in that direct language, I think it does speak to people, and Wordsworth's ideas, his philosophy, everything about the importance of our connection with the landscape. What's more current than that in terms of people's thinking in terms of climate change?
And the Parks Authority said that they were extremely happy to be able to celebrate this milestone.
We sustained about £10 million of damage to the rights of way in that massive storm, the biggest anybody's ever seen in the Lake District in living memory, and it literally destroyed many paths and bridges and pieces of infrastructure like stiles and gates. And we've spent the last 3 years with money from the Rural Payments Agency, from a European fund, £3 million worth of cash repairing and restoring those bridges, just like the one here behind us. So it's really important that we don't just repair and put back the paths and the bridges as they were before they were destroyed by Storm Desmond, because clearly they can't cope with the amount of rainfall that we're now experiencing as a result of our changing climate right here in the Lake District National Park. So we've been determined to make the bridges and the paths more resilient and make them better able to cope with the much larger amounts of rainfall we're now receiving in our storm events. The day's gone really well. I think it's really important to mark the completion of a programme like this. The teams in the National Park, the field teams that do the work, and all the partners that we've had to work with to get their permissions and consents to do what we have to do, have worked very hard over the last 3 years to make this all happen and all be possible. Seeing the damage occur in Storm Desmond is very demoralising for all of our staff and all of the general public who come to appreciate the National Park. So we know that the rights of way being open is very directly linked to the amount of money that comes into the visitor economy of the Lake District. The rights of way are like the lifeblood of the tourism economy in the National Park. They're as important as our veins are to us in our bodies, and without it, it's much harder for people to enjoy the fells of the National Park and all the benefits from the exercise and the mental well-being that the visitor gets from being able to stroll out in the National Park.
With the bridge now open for visitors and locals to pass, one more part of the Lake District is closer to healing from the catastrophic events over 3 years ago. Kieran McFadgen, That's TV.